Watch! All right.
Oh shit.
I think we're here. We got, let's see, Flint Fire Forge, Dying Breed. What's up, man? What's up, Flint? What's up, Chubby Funster? Ultra. Thanks for joining us on the second watch, chill stream. We really don't have any plans tonight. We just want to hear from you guys. But Gary, what's been going on? Brian, what's been going on?
Man, not a lot actually around this way. I put my nose back into Acts 2 this week. I really do love that game. I'm not a capable enough game master to run it. But man, if anybody watching this show would like me to come play in their game, I am all over it. I love that game. That's been my week. Dude.
What is it that you're enjoying most as you get more in depth, and what's provoking your enjoyment or interest?
I think just because it's built, how do I say this? I would like, it's almost, that game itself would almost be an experiment for me, right? Because it's kind of designed to go into domain play, and that's the type of play that I've never really been able to do. And in fact, even running games, when you get characters of a certain level, very few people are interested in that kind of play. I like Gary's new hat. Thanks, bro.
Hello, my ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. You have a very long name.
Anyway, and it's written really well, and it makes sense. It's very thorough. I'm not a thorough person, but the game is very thorough, and I enjoy reading it.
Yeah, I didn't actually do much this week. My job has been kicking my ass. It's been kicking my ass for a couple months now. My bosses are really happy with me, but yeah, I've just been getting my butt whooped. Not a whole lot of sleep, and I actually wasn't feeling well, so I had to cancel my Lamentations game Thursday. So yeah, it's a bummer, but it's all right. Another player was having some issues for attendance as well, so so I was kind of like a fortuitous coincidence, I guess, to cancel it. So, but for tonight's chill stream, I am drinking Maker's Mark number 46.
Oh my gosh!
French oaked. It's okay. I just think bourbon should just be bourbon. I don't like it when
you don't like oaked. You don't like.
Well, for bourbon to be bourbon, it's got to be in white oak. I mean, so you can be bottle and bond. But then you have companies to try to differentiate themselves. Yeah. They'll do it for a little while in the white oak, and then they'll move it to a Merlot cask or a sherry cask to give it new flavors, and that's fine. But I for me, I just want my bourbon. It's like the old Dennis Leary sketch. It's like, can I just have coffee flavored coffee? I just want my bourbon to be bourbon. You know what I mean? It's not bad, but but yeah. So tonight's chill stream, we want to hear from you guys. If you guys got questions, hit us up. We're just going to talk about whatever. But
for Chubby, it's a Cobra Kai t-shirt, Chubby. He just wanted to know what my t-shirt said.
Oh, right on.
Strike first, strike hard, Brian, no mercy.
Brian, what have you been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I got my Shadow Dark game tomorrow with my new group kicking off. Husband, wife, and a good friend who actually was running Shadow Dark for about a year last year, and he swore off running games this year. So he gets to be a player this year and in Shadow Dark. So that's going to be fun to kind of kick that off. They're 3 of a group of 6, and then I'll have later in May we'll have a full table, and then on Sunday I got my pro games with all my elite guys that I've been running for over half a decade. So we're kind of in that bridge. I'm a little bummed tonight. Andor. Gary. I think you might have jinxed me because now, like, I'm like, oh my god, they did that. We're not going to go there right now, but man, I'm hoping Andor pulls through and
So
recovers.
here's the thing. I'm going to give you and I'm going to give the world my take on the Rogue One Andor side of Star Wars real quick. Okay.
Which is totally opposite of mine, so I don't even.
It's totally opposite of his. And then I'm going to explain my complete take on Star Wars, and everybody needs to know I love it. Here you go. Rogue One was made so that all those people who are embarrassed to say they like Star Wars because they're too snooty and educated, now they can say, oh, this is great. It might get an award. Man, Star Wars serious. But it rips the soul out of what Star Wars actually is, because Star Wars is there's black and white morality tales for children. Andor is I watched the first 2 episodes of the first season before anything heinous. Well, actually, something did heinous happen. He killed that dude like right off. That poor guy. You know what I mean? He just was in a bad spot. Done, dude. In Star Wars, you're supposed to know who the fucking good guys and bad guys are. And if you think it needs to grow with you, maybe you need to understand that, like, I had toys when I was a kid. I don't play with them anymore. These things are for children and they serve a purpose. And Andor is just an excuse for cynical media snobs to say there's something about Star Wars they like. That's it. And let's be honest about Star Wars. There are 2.5 good movies, flat out. The first movie's not what we would call a good movie. We just love it because it's what it is. Empire Strikes Back is a great fucking movie. That is a great movie. Return of the Jedi is, they didn't stick the landing, but they didn't fall down, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? After that, what do you need? Like some of Clone Wars is kind of fun, right? If you had a kid when it was on, it was fun to watch. Rebels was aimed right at my kid's age group, so it was fun to watch, but I don't need it. Anyway, Gary, there we go.
Your opinion is driving me to drink. Okay, about the toys argument. That's actually not a terrible argument. But the thing is, film, and I'm going to use the snooty word film, isn't a toy. It's and when you can connect it to a franchise, you're expecting, the franchise to go and grow with your audience. It's one of the reasons why, like, Friday the 13th just was terrible, because it just was the same movie over and over and over again. And you have this entire with Star Wars, you have this entire universe that was created. You have this entire lore. You have all this stuff. And if you look at some of the scenes that didn't make the final cut of the first movie there, episode 4, there's an actual argument between Luke and his buddy about taxation, and it's like this, like, Reagan-esque, so politics and some of this stuff has always been baked.
It doesn't matter
there,
though.
But when we're a kid, no, but it does matter, because when you're a kid, you're right. This is black and white, easy to understand. But as we get older and more sophisticated, we still love these IPs, and we should still be able to enjoy these IPs. So I like to see the IP grow along with
and destroy its legacy, because we want to bring it with us into old age and get buried with it so it can die with us.
Well, what has destroyed the IP? What has destroyed the IP was an ideological issue, which we don't have to get into because we want to avoid politics.
Just kidding.
Okay. I was just like, all right, Disco Barbarian Super Chat $2. Thank you, man. Dog Brothers and Sword Sisters, pull up around the fire. Exactly. And make sure you have a drink, because tonight we're not going to be too serious. I mean, we'll be serious because Gary and I like. That's called the Freudian slip, Gary. But what was I going to say? It doesn't matter. The point is, I don't have a problem with Star Wars still trying to be like a kid-friendly thing. And I think like Clone Wars does a great job of providing that, the series. But you had people who were dedicated fans waiting for the prequels, waiting to see what would happen after the sequels. And I think you have an obligation at that point to give them what they want, and that is something that's gonna resonate with them like it resonated with them as young, idealistic children.
Art
You
has
know what I
no
mean?
fucking
I
obligation
love
to
the
its
fact I'm gonna
audience.
tell you this. I am gonna tell you this. Well, that's an interesting point.
That's a
But
really
I'm
good
but
point.
well, let me finish. Let me finish. I love the fact that Phantom Menace actually started out over a trade dispute because that's very realistic to me, and it kind of gets into the politicking that was going on and how the Emperor was able to do what he did to become the Emperor, right? I thought all that stuff was really good. I just had a problem with the goofy charge. Well, I shouldn't. There was a lot of problems I had with it, but I thought the premise started off like I had high hopes the first like 20 minutes
Yeah.
of the movie, right? Um, but but I think where that movie failed was because they're like, oh, we got to appeal to kids, so we're gonna have a kid with the Force flying around in a ship, and we're gonna have Jar
Well,
Jar, and I'm like, if they didn't do that and just made it
I
a
think
little bit more
I
serious and just trusted the parents to introduce their kids to the original 3 movies, I think we'd have a very different
so
franchise.
I might be talking complete bullshit here, but this is kind of what I've read a few places is that in Lucas's old age, not that he was that old when the prequels came out, but he was old, right? He was not a young man. My understanding is that he had some kind of like religious conversion experience, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it changed his views of like what you could sell to kids. Because I think he thought the original Star Wars was like a kids movie. You know what I mean? Like I think
Oh
he thought
yeah.
that was a kids
Yeah,
movie.
I wanted to hold on one second. There's someone here that's new. There she is. RPG Grandma, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And yes, there was some cool stuff at the start of the movie. And
Either way, I don't like Andor.
you might be right. I thought Andor was great. I'm not happy with the second season, and I'm not going to watch it. Dude, Lucian's soliloquy at the end of the first season. I mean, he's like, you really see the dark side and the light side of the Force still having an impact on the story without having effing Jedi everywhere. That's what I like about Andor. Read between the lines. The Force is still at work, and you got Lucian is succumbing to the dark side with his like obsession with taking down the Empire. It's brilliant. And what's his name? Skarsgård is just I listened to that soliloquy on repeat for like a day because I just thought
I
it was
checked out
awesome.
episode 2, season 1. I was just like, I'm done.
We see, hey Patty Parlor, what's up, dude? And let's see, Dying Breed is actually giving us a question. Fantastic. What is each host's preference when it comes to fantasy? Tolkien-esque, weird pulp, modern, homogenized, or something else? Brian, you go first because Gary and I have been yelling at each other.
This is what we do, right? And somewhere I always find myself the kid in the middle, like dads are arguing. Well, first off, man, we got a lot of cool new names in chat that are showing up here tonight. That's really, really cool. And I actually,
hit like and subscribe, please. Hit like and subscribe.
Yeah, right. Do all the things. And so Dying Breed and Chubby both kind of, put some comments in that I think actually kind of link pretty well with our chosen passion and hobby of tabletop role-playing games, which is...
I'm going to have to interrupt you. We got a super chat of Disco Barbarian, $2. Jar Jar was supposed to be Sith, and Lucas punked it. That's actually one of my favorite little conspiracy theories or memes or whatever, is that Jar Jar is actually like the Sith Lord, and he was just playing dumb the whole time. I thought that was...
Well, with AI, we can see that movie now, right?
One of the first things I did when I was learning how to play the FFG Star Wars game was me and a friend sat down and had a hunt to make sure we understood.
You did a
We did a
you did a
Gungan
what?
hunt to make sure we understood combat rules.
That's brutal. Gungan hunt needs to be an adventure that is done in the dark.
It was good.
recesses.
And then we did the same thing. We were trying to learn vehicle rules and we were using speeder bikes. And so, we did Gungan hunts on speeder bikes.
Yeah, so Chubby and Dying Breed both have some insightful comments and kind of connecting a lot to this
Be right back.
this hobby, this pastime. So, Chubby kind of piles on or follows on the coattails of Gary's logic. We shouldn't be dragging stuff into our old age. Okay, that's kind of what we do in these games to some degree. So, I mean, I think that there's some value there. And then Dying Breed says, okay, well, about preference. So if I'm dragging something from my old age into what I run now today, like what are the sources that sometimes I can always go to? Sure, Empire is definitely one. I mean, Empire was the first cliffhanger thing as a child that I wanted to go home and create stories. So I had Bosk attacking Chewbacca and all these things that I wanted to see resolved narratively because I was left hanging. So yeah, we can go back to those things that we enjoyed as kids and find the adult awareness or wisdoms to be able to expand upon that. I think Andor does that. I think at its best, it really shows the scope of purpose and consequences. Yes, I'm just as disappointed as probably everyone else is watching the first 3 episodes, but I'm not giving up on it yet. Andor and Rogue One are up there right alongside and have probably moved into surpassing Empire for me because I'm seeing now the evolution of what can be. So there's something to be said if we pigeonhole something and say, well, this is where it should always be. It should always be here and for kids or whatever, so forth. Well, we're really limiting the imagination of all these things that provoke our curiosities and our inspiration in creating in the first place. We want to see it evolve. There's a whole universe out there, and I'm glad to have those things that still compel me because there's not been much in Star Wars that's been exciting, but it's a common thread for most creators. We can all draw something from it. We can all draw a little bit of inspiration or something we'd like to expand upon, something relatable.
Yeah, well, I think relatability is kind of the issue, and I will be bringing it into to answer Dying Breed's question. This is our version of the Trumpian swerve. So just follow us, guys. Follow us. So and to kind of tie it into what Chubby was saying and to refute Gary, I don't think. I do think we can. Let me rephrase. I don't think we can get back there. I will never have the experience I had picking up the red box, and playing D&D for the first time. I will never have that experience again. And it's sad. And that's where a lot of this like nostalgia porn
just
comes
like heroin.
from, right? But
I'm just kidding.
I don't know about Jesus Christ. God, give this guy a drink and here we go. But I do think that as we engage in this hobby and the franchises and the IPs that we like, it's going to grow with us and our interests are going to kind of evolve. And by evolve, I mean deepen. I mean, if every Star Wars thing, if every D&D thing, if every whatever thing remained as it was back then, it would be very surface level. And frankly, I would find it boring. And that's one of the reasons why I love Lamentations of the Flame Princess so much. It's why I love the Red Room so much. I know. Everyone drink. I just said it. James Raggi, pound. Okay. Or run naked through the snow, whatever. But my point is though, like, there's nothing wrong with us like having a deeper understanding of what's going on. And that's what I loved about Andor. Like Rogue One, because you got to see the desperation of what it was like. And that's why A New Hope actually has a lot more meaning. It's
enriching the prior product. It's
Exactly. I love in Andor first season, Saw Gerrera has become one of my favorite tragic characters because here's an idealist, especially if you watch the cartoon Clone Wars. He starts off young, gonna fight the Empire, or he's trying to like do whatever. But when you see him in Rogue One, he is broken.
Oh, there goes Matt.
He is lost, and there's this great. I'm just if I'm I don't know, freezing up. I'm still here. Point is, there's this great exchange between Lucen and him where like he just reveals like how desperate he is, and he's like looking at him and he's like rattling off all these other like resistance movements. And he's like, you're talking about the separatists? You're talking about this guy? We're lost. The desperation. He's broken. He's like mostly metal because he's like been injured so many times. Like you really feel all of this desperation for what's going on in the Empire. And that's when all of a sudden the Twin Suns theme and Luke Skywalker, on Tatooine looking at the horizon, like all of a sudden has a whole new level of meaning. And so anyway,
the gravity of a purpose. So let's go back to the question earlier. What
I was supposed to do that, and
do you think it means anything that it takes me less time to tell you guys how I'm right and you're wrong than it takes you to tell me how I'm wrong?
No,
y'all need to explain. It takes you like a long time to explain why I'm wrong, but I can just say it.
I'll tell you right now. I can answer this. I can answer. No, I can tell you why. Because this isn't the Daily Show. I don't just have some weird sarcastic quip and magically an argument's been made and everyone laughs.
I don't think I had a sarcastic quip.
Yay.
I don't think it was a sarcastic quip. I think I made a good argument.
No, you did make some.
All right, so
made an argument.
Dying Breed had a great question. So talking about preferences for
I like Tolkien-esque because there is a deep history that has an impact on the present, what the characters have to deal with, and that history is rooted in culture, faith, religion of that world, and the characters have to kind of navigate that and learn about that. Even if it's forgotten knowledge, they need to learn it to overcome whatever it is they're dealing with. I like that a lot. I say that not because I'm like, want to have like these gamey story arcs. No, I just like having that there. So the players have something to like, I don't know, sink their teeth into with respect to like the RP aspect.
That ancestral fantasy of Tolkien, do you find the Lamentations?
I think, but just as far as the literature goes, I don't think it was necessarily in relation to gaming as much as it was just what, if I read the question correctly, he was just kind of asking what's your favorite fantasy.
Yeah, he said fantasy. He go to the game. That's why I was interested in what Matt's connection from that, if that's his favorite fantasy. And then Matt, you really, pushed a lot of poker chips on running Lamentations and have so much reps with it. And you merged fantasy, ancestral, Temple of Elemental Evil with this rule set.
I did.
It's not ancestral fantasy. I mean, I guess.
Oh, it is. No one.
Lamentations, would you call that ancestral?
No. Lamentations is a horror game masquerading.
Okay, so there's that.
Well, what I did with my campaign is I took a lot of those ideas and put them into the background. Like but my players haven't really explored that, and that's fine. I don't really care. I mean, it's up to them. But like my dark world, it really is a dark world. There's no gods. All the gods that people worship are just some sort of demonic entity or some other thing, and that gives them power, and that's why magic users end up running cults. But then in comes the Arn faith. The Arns arrive, and they actually have what they call the one true God, and that's where clerical magic comes in. And so they're spreading their faith, and it's like a carrot and stick. It's like, I like politics, I like that kind of dark, fantasy stuff. So people see, oh wow, the Arns can actually heal people. But then if you step out of line, you end up going on a cross and set on fire because you're breaking the tenets of the faith. So it's very dark.
I find it fascinating that you speak to the Tolkien-esque ancestral fantasy as a root and you're running Lamentations, that's kind of been your comfort, or not your comfort, that's been your preferred dish to serve. And it's kind of interesting to think about how you might invert the tropes of ancestral fantasy and really have something to draw from, because if you're so much into the historical precedents and creating those cultures and all the different factional relevancies, and then how do you just kind of, I don't want to say pervert it, but maybe that's the right word for Lamentations, I don't know, but how do you kind of piece that together? Do you draw from that in creating situations for your players to respond to, say like, how can I make this more toxic and weird and dark from a rooted idea?
Well, I basically on I guess sort of like revealing the horror. Like, yeah, there's like these people who dig the elves, for example. I call the Seelie Court, the Unseelie Court, and they get magic from them, and they have their little cults, right? And the old ways, whatever they want to call it, right? But then, I we had like a 2-month, 3-month run where I was running Zach S's A Red and Pleasant Land, and I used that as my Unseelie Court. They got teleported there,
Oh, cool.
and it's just the is the land of unreason, and everybody, like players and myself, went nuts, like trying to like navigate how to run Alice in Wonderland, right? But with vampires.
Fun.
And so yeah, these are not gods, these are not goodly beings. So then it almost reinforced some of the players' faith in the Iron Church, to the point where one of my players, like, he has no problem just killing elves now. Like, he's just like, you're an elf, I know what you are.
Wow.
You're not one of God's children.
Is there any more protected class in all of fantasy that everyone is elves, and like to have that now be the result? That's fun. That's fun.
So yeah, no, but I'm a dark fantasy guy. Like, I think things should be scary. It's one of the reasons why I like Shadow Dark. They bring the fear back, right? And I guess the dark side for me is because I'm a little older and a little bit more cynical,
Sure.
But we have a question. Let's see.
I didn't get to.
We got to get to Gary.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
Oh, yeah, Gary. Go. Yeah.
So, as far as like game related fantasy, it's the Conan, Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser kind of stuff. But my favorite fantasy books of all time, and it's so not D&D, Roger Zelazny's Nine Princes of Amber.
Oh.
I just love that series so much, I really can't explain to you how much I love that series. I've probably read it 4 times, maybe 5. I think it hit me at the right age and it just stuck with me. You know what I mean? And it's so cool, man. It's like that whole 70s kind of, I don't know how to, you just got to read it. Roger Zelazny, Nine Princes of Amber. The whole series is great. And then after that, and this is kind of a weird take, but I know everybody's on Tolkien, and I have to say that I love The Hobbit. The Hobbit is like one of my favorite books, period.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys can tell by watching this show, but I don't sit down a lot. So the idea that I found like any of the Lord of the Rings trilogy like entertaining is just ludicrous. It's so long. You know what I mean? It's just so long.
Like words.
Like, I love The Hobbit. I loved it. But I'm not gonna lie, dude. Lord of the Rings is I just go to sleep. And the same with the movies. Like, after that first movie, I was done. I was just
okay. Let's stick with what.
All right. Hey, Brian. I was thinking about doing this live stream on Friday nights called The Second Watch. You want to be my co-host?
We're not far. We need to be on.
Yeah, I know, right? But as far as like the whole sword and sorcery thing, like I love Conan. I love Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. Probably my favorite series when I was Dragonlance when I was a kid. And then if anybody read Thieves World, it was kind of like a fantasy pulp shared world with it was like Robert Lynn Asprin and Jerry Pournelle everybody had a character and was on the same city, in the city called Sanctuary, and there were, anyway, it was an anthology where a bunch of different authors. Anyway, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm trying to say. I may have had a drink or two. Why y'all laughing at me? Anyway, go ahead.
Because our chat is having some.
Yeah, the chat's on fire tonight.
Yeah.
Thank
Hey,
you,
by the
guys.
way, I've been meaning to say,
all right,
Bacon. Hello, man. Like, I want to say, there's so many of you guys that pass through here, and we still only have 3 likes. Can we just get 2 more likes? Please, can we get 2 likes? Also,
yeah, and
also,
ahead.
I want everybody to know it is hard to keep up with everybody that comes through. So if we don't say hello and you know that we know you, it's just because I don't want to interrupt Brian. So
is that your barrier to recognition of our?
Yeah.
Hey, Gary,
on that note though, I do want to say Better with Bacon is here, and he and I had a great
really
conversation on his channel earlier this week. I wish we could have gone longer, but I had family obligations, but that was great. Please go to his channel, like and subscribe. Check out that conversation. Bacon, dude, man, you are a very thoughtful guy.
Love to have you on the show.
Glad to see you here. We would love to have you on the show.
Talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick your topic.
Exactly. That was just really awesome to talk with you and get to know you a little bit better.
Real quick,
so
before we move,
also we have another super chat. Disco Barbarian, $2. Thank you. Gary's talking
That's
about
my $2.
Indeed he is.
Hey, real quick.
Does it go straight to you? It goes straight to you.
My name's in the sentence.
We're in the red, so
we are in the red. We are in the red. But hey, thank you to everybody who sends us little super chats, and we've had some super chats that are not small, in the past, and we really appreciate that. Our goal right now is just to pay for the stream, and I think if we can get to a point where we can pay for the stream, I think we're going to pay for things like going to cons far, far away from our homes and meeting people that so far we've only met online. I don't think any of us expect. My kid said, "Are you ever gonna make any money off of YouTube? How much money do you make off of YouTube?" And I was trying to explain to him that, we have a potential audience of hundreds.
Yeah. I tell people, like, yes, because they're like, "Oh, you write role-playing games and you're in the industry," and I go, "Yeah, I made tens of dollars last year." Patty's Parlor Games is here. The guy's on Rumble. He's probably one of the more popular guys in this space on Rumble. So please check him out if you don't know who he is. And yes, he is the guy who made that thumbnail. Very talented artist. Just wanted to thank Patty. Thank you very much for being here and doing what you do.
Gary, I want to go back to because again the question came up from like your genre and such, and you were talking about the Amber. Did you ever read any Clark Ashton Smith? Were you ever into some of his stuff?
No, I haven't. And you know what? I actually a few months ago I went. Yeah, I went in to try to find his stuff somewhere, and then you know how you go on tangents on the internet, and if you don't find it right away, you just kind of move on with your life. So he's definitely on my radar.
So you like weird fantasy? Would that kind of?
I guess you call it weird fantasy. Like another short little thing by Zalesny that I liked was Jack of Shadows, which is actually I think it's actually in Appendix in Jack of Shadows. And that's a great book. I've been trying to like find a way to get that setting into a game since I was little. Dude, I was so lucky, man. So my Uncle Donald was a bachelor. Like he was wounded in Vietnam, and he got this fat job with the VA, and he was living in Chicago close to all kinds of gaming. Like he was just living large, and he had all the Appendix N stuff was on his shelf. You know what I mean? So I was really lucky to be exposed young to that kind of thing. Matt, you said someone had a question.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. So Chubby Funster, question for the host. You are choosing a game to run every week for the next 26 weeks at least. What are you picking? Well, as someone who's been running Lamentations of the Flame Princess for almost 3 years, that's been a great system to use. However, I'm also a human who gets bored of things and wants to try something else. So I'm looking at the Red Room's Wretched RPG. I like Free League stuff, but right now nothing jumps out at me that could do more than like a short burst of like a mini campaign or anything like that. Like I'd love to do an episodic Vossen game, Monster of the Week kind of thing, or something like once a month or something. But Wretched RPG is it's just a fun system, and I really want to run it.
So. I don't know if that'd be the system that I picked for this question, but I do feel like Wretched, if you could get a good 4-hour session in every week or two, it could very much be like your own little TV show or your movie of the week, something like that. And that's actually why I thought I would switch from Everyday Heroes to Wretched, a while back, because I felt it would have really captured that better. I really like Wretched, man. There's just so many games, but there's only so much time. You know what I mean? That's kind of the thing.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm just gonna, because we like the Red Room and we want to help them out. They're 3 years old and they're running a 30% off sale at their web store to get some PDFs. Type in Red Room 3 for 30% off. I actually just purchased their Wretched Vigilantes bundle and Wretched Justice because Gary and I have been talking about having some fun in like 1970s, and I've been working on like a necro punk thing, and
it's so far down what Matt's they're doing fucking list. Bro, the other day in messaging, just so everybody knows, we're talking about doing something, and Matt sends us his list of unfinished projects. Somebody like, you need to go to the doctor, like get some medicine, slow down. I
can't.
You know what, man, you are like you really are sort of an inspiration to me, because somehow you do all this, you get a lot of stuff done, and you pump out a lot of words, and you have an idea, and you go and you make it, and I am eternally cursed with, I get a really good, I have the germ of a great idea, and then it's like, oh yeah, that'd be great.
Why do you think that is? So as
for fucking days, man.
Is it boredom, or is it just always the allure of like squirrel elements of a genre?
No. I can. So here's the thing. I don't know that I have ADHD. I don't know what I have, because what'll happen is I'll get obsessed, and I can literally. So like, if my wife gives me a chore, hey, take the trash out at some point, I'm gonna think about taking the trash out until the trash is taken out.
Hey Matt, interrupt Gary. Super chat.
Oh, I know. I was waiting for like a. All right, so we got a super chat, $5 from Ultra American TTRPGer. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. When I think of the books I read growing up, it was mostly either modern fantasy or sci-fi. Surprised I didn't start out playing Gamma World first. I want to point out something for those who don't know Ultra. This dude did not start playing RPGs with D&D. City of Mist was his first game. So he's got a really interesting perspective on games, because unlike a lot of us almost grognards, he didn't start with D&D, and I really like his perspective on things, because he's coming from a different.
That is interesting. So hey, my 26-week game, if somebody only told me you're running a game for 26 weeks, and that's all I knew about the game, BX, old school essentials, if that's all I knew about it, I would just grab that, because I know it. I don't have to like learn a system, or get too wild about it. Actually, that'd probably be my answer, period. That's the truth. That's where I'm at right now. Brian, I don't even know why we would ask you, hey Brian, what would your game be if you had to run a game for 20?
Oh, you're gonna hate my answer though.
I know what your
I think we know
what
your
answer
answer.
is.
My
Are you
answer is going to
drinking?
be based upon my players that I'm going to have at the table. Then I can make an informed decision because 26 weeks is a commitment, right? And it's a commitment from the players to be engaged, and for the GM to create content for the players to respond to. So what would be my fallback if my players are like kind enough to say, "Oh, we're fine with anything." Like that's the dream player, right? By the way, if you have a dream player that says, "Hey, GM, we're cool with whatever system you want to run," and that's hard for some GMs to find right now. But if I had to have the luxury of that, yeah, it's Shadow Dark. It's always Shadow Dark. It is just such a lean system that I can add meat to, but also my players can add meat to. But if my players ask me to run something, I'm open to it. If they think that they can step in for 26 weeks and give it the necessary engagement, I'm open. I'm open to running those.
I thought we were going to make it a whole hour without you bringing up your players. But we didn't, man. 41 minutes. Hey,
yeah.
actually, Brian, I was going to bring something up to you. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Did you buy Hellmarch?
No, I briefly looked at it, but
bro,
I've spent
get
so
it.
much money on Kickstarters and everything lately.
Well, it's like less than $10, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
if you
less
saw
than
my
$10.
hard drive right now of all the PDFs and all the stuff I've got. Like it almost becomes just such overload. And I kind of admire you. Sometimes you talk about having a very lean bookshelf. And it's so easy for me to get lost in the weeds of all these different systems and things. But
I have, but the problem
I'm having
is
a problem with battle maps right now.
yeah, but I have an iPad is the problem.
I'm having right now. I'm going down.
Here's the hold on. I don't like having physical stuff. It freaks me out to have too much stuff because I have a strange brain. But I have an iPad with countless PDFs on it at any moment. It's not like I don't have a lot of shit to read. If I stopped buying, dude, if I erased every PDF I owned except things that were compatible with OSE, right? Except for like BX games,
sure,
I would still never use everything that I've read or owned.
Oh no, it's
right. Like I buy things now to be entertained.
We're hoarders.
Right? I want to read things. I want to steal ideas from different games. I want to steal ideas from modules. But the idea that I need another module or I need another game, like, here's the thing. That's I'm going to tell you right now. That's why I don't do Kickstarters. There's nothing I fucking need. If you put out a good game, it's going to wind up in the stores and I'll fucking buy it, or I'll hear about it and I'll go to your website. Why is Shadow Dark? Why is Western Reaches the one thing that I've pledged in the last like 5 years?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because she's got her shit together. It's going to be a great physical product. And if I'm going to buy something that's going to take up what little space I have, I want it to be really fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. My answer to the whole 26 game thing, it took a while for me to go ahead and be comfortable, like saying, yeah, this is where I would settle, because my favorite fantasy, back to the question earlier, my favorite fantasy is probably Gothic horror. It's running 15, 16 years of Ravenloft across multiple editions, and having played with women who started gaming at Vampire the Masquerade, that was their entry. And to get them to play that game and not play Vampire, but then also being able to sustain the necessary dark, morbid themes and all the things that go into the horror genre. It's a bit taxing, but I love it. There's something about it because I'm normally a very outgoing, positive, but to take something like Ravenloft and make it work and be able to go to dark places, I think requires a lot of artistic courage. So my favorite genre, Gothic horror. And Shadow Dark.
I have a question. I'm going to put you on the hot seat. So I've been working on a face rip thing, my own little clone.
You can ignore what I just wrote.
I do. Okay, yeah, no, I do, but we'll get to it. So I've been working on a face rip thing because I really like face rip, and I think it can do like the superhero thing better than 5e. So like I've been working on, I call it Defenders of Alatria, and you play like Saturday morning cartoon characters who are like super heroic. I put a pause on that because I've hit some snags on the design side of things and just basic writer's block, and I've decided to start working on a Shadow Dark project called I'm tentatively calling it Lord Mattias Presents The Living Darkness Volume 1, and it's a horror anthology. And I'm basically taking some of these like game jam stuff that I've done in the past and doing what I really wanted to do with them. What I love about game jams is that you have a limited time and limited space to present an idea. And it's a great challenge. It's a great way to like cut your teeth and challenge yourself. But a lot of stuff ends up on the cutting room floor, right? So I'm basically starting with my very first Shadow Dark module, The Haunting of Ashtonshire Keep. I'm starting there and I'm just like expanding on them. Would you be willing to use them and give me with your players and then give me notes?
I love playtesting stuff. I think it's fun to take things to people. Uh, Although I have to apologize, it was very kind, Chubby. I appreciate you understanding. But man, like whenever you're playtesting something, it's interesting because like there's the mechanical piece, and you want to be able to do it justice and understanding and translating it, so you can give feedback that's going to be insightful. Um, but then there's also, well, how do I merge this with the content that I want to be able to put forth of the genre? And that takes time. And I found, having done like loose play testing of other things, like I need more than like 3 or 5 sessions to really get my groove. I need probably like double digits, and if you get enough of a head start on that, and you get players that are willing to say, yeah, we'll play test. We couldn't make it. My guys, we couldn't make it through the MCDM playtest stuff. We just could. There was things about that we enjoyed, but then we all just kind of looked at it and were like, man, there's other things that just do this better. There's a lot of rabbit holing, and um, playtesting it's weird because it's exciting to engage with new things and new ideas because we can steal them, obviously. But then it's also sometimes, yeah, but it just falls short. Now, for you, you know your stuff, and because like we're friends, like I would love to be involved in that, because what we three do is we bounce off of each other, sometimes very opposite ways, and that's how great systems are created, with honest, transparent feedback that has specificity, and still genuine good faith intent to see whatever it is fully realized. And RPG Grandma's super hilariously cool. Like, you're spot on. We want to get people published. This is the time. This is the window that the hobby's needed for a long time to really just go and break into new ground again. Underground scene rises all over again. Hell, man, even Pundit could not be mean to Kelsey in his thing this week when he's talking about what's going to replace 5e. I'm like, that dude usually can always find a way to be spiky. He couldn't even.
Let me. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to pause you right there because I was on the front lines
Okay.
on that. I was going head to head with him on Twitter. Okay, he is the way. I'm not, and I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm not trying to start any shit because I actually just asked him to review Wretched Folklore.
Wow.
I'm not trying to talk any shit, but I went head to head with him on Twitter. He is the way he is. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. But you're right. You're right, because I think she's proven
Yeah,
herself.
I was
She's
surprised that
clearly
BMC's
proven
not
herself.
like soft gloves and such, but
Yeah. I wanted to just say, hey, Ultra Man, like I see a lot of people responding to you in the chat. If you want me to take a look at something and offer some criticism and some thoughts, I'm always available, man. Just reach out. I want to help indie creators too. You know what I mean? We're all in this together kind of thing. And I'm a big fan of the OSR because of the punk rock do it yourself sort of DIY attitude. If you can make a couple bucks, great. If you got someone who just says, I think your shit is awesome, that's even better. Who cares if you didn't make any money? Someone thinks your shit is awesome, so like I want to help. I'm more than happy to help you succeed. Not that I'm like, whatever, but if you're interested, I'm more than happy to talk.
I don't really consider myself a creator. So if you want someone to read it from a consumer's point of view, I had a big thing this week. If you want somebody to read it from a consumer's point of view and critique you on that, I would be happy to, or maybe not. I don't know. I think creators are too nice to each other. Moving on.
Yeah, well, there is that. I'm not going to open this door because I'm not sure where I land on it yet. But like Max Boivin, he's got reaction. He's got some interesting takes on things, and he's hardcore about the industry, and I respect his position a lot. And he made a point like last week on Max Liao's live stream. He's just like, I wish reviewers would actually provide negative reviews so I know where to send my money. And I'm 100% there. But here's the problem: if you're also a creator, you're going to put yourself on a list. I'm already on a couple lists.
I'm going to tell you,
Reddit doesn't like me, and I'm not going to name names, but there's another group.
I mean, Barry, that'd be like a musician, being the critic of another musician, right? Or a band, a traveling Texas band.
Thanks, Chubby. No, here's the thing. Thank you, Chubby. So I spent a considerable amount of my working life in around creatives. And what I will say is I don't think you should critique publicly if you are also a creator. And I'm going to explain that. So I don't want to give anybody the wrong idea. I was a craftsman. I wasn't really an artist, right? My job was to play music for people to dance to that would make them thirsty and drink beer, right? That was my job. Nobody gave a fuck about any song I might have written in a van, okay? So I don't want anybody to think I'm coming at this from an artist point of view. I was a craftsman. But let's say at one of these places I played, where let's say there's 6 bands, right? And I critique those bands, but then I'm like sharing the stage with them. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't, that's not the way you want. You always, as a creator, I feel like you always want to say something positive or you want to not fucking say anything. Because your job is to help lift. Bro, Free Beer is a great band name, by the way. You after somewhere around like 97, you couldn't use it in Austin anymore. Like it was like a thing. You couldn't use it in Austin. So anyway, I just think I don't think it's a good idea to be both creator and critic. I think it's and I know that there will be people that disagree and they'll probably have really good arguments. So I'd love to hear them. But I think as a creator, you're in this pool of people. Let's try to lift up your brothers and they're going to lift you up, and let's learn from each other and let's do this thing. As a critic, I think your job is to tear things apart. Your job is to strip things down. By that redhead new games, fucking. I just see my name and I'm like,
Gary.
Gary,
I actually agree with you, man. I'm just in this position, me personally, and this is my own fault. I started my YouTube channel to it's why I did actual plays, so I could prove to people I'm actually playing this stuff. So when I tell you I like it or not, I'm not getting paid, it's real, this, that, and the other thing. The actual plays, ladies and gentlemen, may come as a shock to you. We're phasing this out. I'm going to phase it out. I'm going to finish Lamentations of
but the row is done.
I've been with it for 3 years, but yeah, it's just they don't get a lot of.
You should live the one.
They don't. well, I'll think about that. But they don't get a lot of play because it's a niche within a niche, right? And it's just a kind of a pain in the ass. And I don't even put a lot of work into them, and they're
Yeah.
still a pain in the ass. So I'm just not going to do them anymore. But when I started doing this, I got into the OSR when James Radji was about to lose his business. And I remember watching a live stream at like 2 a.m. and he's on the verge of tears because of all the bullshit, all the bullshit that happened. And it's RPG. Hey, thank you so much. I do love your channel. Please hit like and subscribe. She's awesome. She's awesome. So thank you for coming out. But yeah, so I saw this guy who I immediately idolized for having the courage to do some of the crazy stuff that Lamentations does. So I'm like, that's it. I'm starting a YouTube channel and I'm going to help indie creators by showcasing their stuff. Little did I know that was not going to be a very popular thing. But it is what it is. And that's kind of like why I did what I did. But like, I think, well, one, the industry's moving to like live streams and short form, number one. And that's just across the board. That's just not TTRPGs. But also I think in this space, you get more out of conversations where like Gary and I, who do not agree at all, are
but
in
we
a lot
agree
of things.
on a lot. We just never pick topics we agree on because it's boring.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I think you just get more out of that kind of back and forth. You know what I mean? So
I think it's great that I have a scheduled argument every night from 10 to midnight. You know what I mean? I just think it's great. I think like every Friday, well, I'm going to go get drunk and disagree with Matt.
I have scheduled friction at 10 p.m.
Yeah. I every Friday night I have a sliver I have to pull out of some random body part. It's called Gary. This little.
I'm kind of processing a lot of what the chat in the back and forth. Like we're talking like the nature
Matt, bro. I feel every once in a while you say things and it's like I'm just you're just smarter than me and it pisses me off that I'm not quicker.
I'm smarter than you, but you do shave heads better than anybody on this channel.
I'm not. I don't know if Matt's smarter, I'm trained. But he's definitely quicker. I'm trained to be quick. I think that living in the Texas heat, I think that's why everybody down here talks a little slower.
Yeah, we're slower.
Yeah, and I think my brain works. Like I'm constantly the guy that walks away and thinks of the best thing I could have said in like 5 minutes. Fuck, you know. I'm like, I got it.
So this critique thing, right? And like we're bouncing around, and it's like, well, as a creator, what does it mean out there? And do you critique the independent spirit that's trying to just get published? Yeah. And it's fascinating stuff, right? Because like the best works go through edits and proofreads and critiques. There's something that's usually out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where if you think about like in running our games, how often do we solicit critique? Well, how often are players comfortable giving us critique? These are things that I sometimes really process, and I always find that I have to spend some time to reground or root myself in getting my players' feedback and critique. I run like surveys.
Yeah, but hey, Brian, what I'm trying to tell Matt is not it's not so much a thing about critique and whatever. What I'm trying to explain is that I don't think so. If you're going to be a creator, be a creator. If you're going to be a critic, be a critic.
Right.
I think that as a creator, it's not so much that you have a responsibility to boost every little thing that you see. If you don't like it, don't fucking say its name.
Yeah, it's the PDM approach, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But if like, for example, if I was doing a show by myself, like I think about publishing sometimes, but the reality of it is I'll publish with someone else. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I have a lot of good ideas, but I've never had that real, you know what I mean? That like, it's never been a dream to be a designer, right? I just really, really like games and I really like thinking about them. And, I'll probably do something with a friend one day. You know what I mean? So for me, if I'm my own channel and I'm critiquing, I should be completely honest. I should be like, hey, this
Sure.
fucking game, it sucks, or it's great, or whatever. But as a creator, you've got to think about the fact that you're going to be going to conventions. You're going to need people's help. You're going to forget fucking tacks to put the skirt on your table with, and the guy next to you who's also a creator, you just said some, shit about his game, and he has the tax that can help you set up your booth, but he's not going to give them to you because you gave his. It's just going to make your life easier to stay in your lane. Are you a creator or are you a critic? I don't think it's a moral thing. I think it's I think it's the best way to get by.
You think about and I think the comment in there, actors, Flint, actors don't critique other actors because that actor may one day become a director. I think about the fact that I haven't seen The Scene yet. I haven't seen the movie. But Spielberg did a movie a few years ago with David Lynch. And, these are two directors whose content could not be more polar opposite. And you'd have to think also, being so good at what they do, they probably do have a critical eye towards the other's work. But it is unspoken. I'm sure those guys don't sit down whenever they meet, or they don't look. There's nothing that's offered in the public sphere, and that's now. However,
I think
we wear different hats. So as game masters, we can offer critique as game masters. So as a game master, and here's a spiky one. What system do you hate? What genre of fantasy?
Ooh, don't get me started.
But I'm saying, so there, you're saying don't get me started because you're comfortable with that critique. And critique is good because it does make things better when it comes from a good faith argument. And not just to tear down.
Well, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with critique. Listen, no, here's the thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with critique. I don't think there's anything wrong with critique. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Matt being a creator and critiquing thing. I don't think it's like an ethical thing or a moral thing or anything like that. I just think that it would be better all around for creators to not be critics.
Absolutely.
I think it would help them in the long run.
And this is actually perfect to highlight Flint Fireforge. Hey man, thanks for showing up as always. Public critique only creates pettiness. I've said this a couple times. I've been kind of black pilled in the industry because I've been I don't want to say targeted, but I know I'm on a couple whisper campaigns thanks to some very loyal people who've let me know. And it's because I've said things that other people don't effing like. And so Gary's got a good point here from a pragmatic point of view. If you want to be successful in this industry, you got to get along to get along. You know what I mean?
Good night, man. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate y'all's support over there. Thank you very much.
Dying Breed, thank you so much, man. Everyone, Nerd Cognito, subscribe. Well, they're actually on Rumble, so follow at Rumble. They have the speakeasy tomorrow. I'll probably be there, barring any
they'll at least
random family obligations.
I don't know. Dude, have you ever had one of those weekends when all your fucking kids are home? Oh my God, dude. They're all gonna be here this week. Sorry, go ahead.
But I do think, and Patty said something, and I should have marked it so I could find it. But he said something that he actually would rather have a creator critique, and I get his argument. I get his argument, but you know what? A couple years back, I used to make jokes about a particular, we'll call him a pundit in the RPG scene, who does critiques, and you'll see on his video his books and then the book he's talking about, and he'll respond, and he'll compare and contrast. He may say something positive about your book, but he's also going to talk about his books. You see what I'm saying? So it just kind of, I've always found, as much as I appreciate, we'll just call him a pundit, as much as I appreciate his insight into game design and his take on the hobby and the industry in general, I always found that a little distasteful. You know what I mean? And I've been and I look at what's going on and what I've experienced behind the scenes. I kind of agree with Gary on this. Like, if you're a creator, keep your effing mouth shut publicly. If
Talk
people that you know and trust are, talk about what you like publicly. But if people behind the scenes are asking you, hey, what do you think about this game? And you don't like it, keep that to yourself. You know, don't
now,
make
if,
that.
Let me put it this way. If I were at a game convention and a creator came to me and said, hey, Gary, what do you really think of my game? And we were like outside, you know, just talking, right? I would tell him, I'd say, look, bro, here are my critiques, you know, and I would definitely make sure, because I understand what it's like to try and create something, and I would find the positive in it. You know what I mean? I don't want to shatter anybody's dreams. This is the one place where, like, I'm really nice to people. You know what I mean? Because I get it. I get it, man. I know you're trying hard. You know what I mean? But in privately, I would say, look, this is the thing I don't like about this, and that. I would give them, and when they come back with reasons, I would say, bro, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm the guy giving you money. Like, I'm the consumer. I don't owe anybody fucking anything. If I give you money, right, I don't want to hear your arguments back. Yes, I'm going to North Texas Con, Chubby.
All three of us are going to be at North Texas Con. All three of us did not buy badges, so all three of us are going to be looking for games that have openings.
Fuck all.
We're crashing. We're crashing.
We're going to.
Chubby, I don't even know what you look like in real life, and I love you. I want to hug you like my fucking uncle that's been dead for like 10 years. You know what I mean? I just want to wrap my arms around you and tell you everything's going to be okay. I'm a future in a manly way. In a manly way.
Chubby, he's never said that.
No.
We can't get into games. We might be on the side outside the hotel, like looking for food.
You know, I gotta tell you. So I'm really excited about North Texas Con, and I know this sounds weird because people who suck it. I know, so cons have never been a part of my gaming life. In fact, this is my first adult gaming con. The only con that I've been to is, and somebody's going to have to tell me the year or explain to me where I'm wrong, but I feel like there was a year where Gen Con and Origins kind of overlapped. I remember Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman were there. It was in Milwaukee, and they were there because they were doing that Black Sword, whatever the fuck, after Dragonlance. And FASA was doing this like Centurion Imperial whatever fucking thing. And that, I was a kid. So cons have never been a big part of my life. And I know everybody's looking forward to sitting down and playing games. And I do want to play some games. But honestly, man, there's some people I want to meet. There's some friends I want to make. There's some people I've talked to online. There's some drinks I want to have to some people. There's a couple ears I would like to bend if they're willing to, listen. Shopping would be nice. Let's see what's for sale. So for me, I will say that this is a very social thing. And I don't know if you two remember when we first talked about this, I was like, let's get a fucking Airbnb with a pool and I'll fucking barbecue and we'll throw a big party, dude. Just invite everybody.
I'm not kidding you. I actually spent some time looking, and it'll just be cheaper to stay at the hotel.
Word. But
but I thought about it. I thought, because I'm not for nothing, but I can smoke. I can smoke meat. I know a thing.
I was gonna say, dude, I'm growing fresh ingredients for salsa. Like, I'm not going to the grocery store to buy fresh vegetables. I'm growing fresh vegetables for salsa. I do think that if we ever get to a point where people actually care about our show, we should get an Airbnb and just invite everybody back.
Oh, that's up. That is in the back of my brain. That is marketing. 100%
Absolutely, Chubby.
agree with you on that.
I gotta let the dog out. I'm sorry, but when we get back, Matt, I have questions. There are answers.
We actually have to answer a couple questions from someone who cannot be here, but sent me direct message
Chubby,
on
I agree, man.
X.
As soon as we're in the black, I think that our funds should. Well, there's some. I will say there is some equipment I would really like for Matt and Brian to get, but once we pay for the show, I think funds going to an Airbnb party would be rad.
I think that would be hilarious.
What a fun concept! Like as a mini convention, like an Airbnb.
It's not. It doesn't even have to. I mean, I'm sure a game would be going. Oh, that brings us to the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, because there is going to be this ongoing game, and maybe we could run like a fucking. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll be right back. I gotta let my dogs out. Hang on.
Now, while Gary steps out.
Okay.
Let's go to chat a little bit here. So everyone in chat, when it comes to a genre right now that you're enjoying, or a system that you really enjoy, can you chat bomb right now what you're running or what you are really interested in right now? Because that's where the hobby is at right now. We've got this wonderful area. Like, what are y'all running? What are y'all interested in? What genre right now is, or maybe a genre you haven't done?
I'm too busy looking.
I know. I'm trying to go through and parse.
Chubby, I really want to have a drink with Chubby. So we're gonna find you at North. I'm gonna like invoke freaking Last of the Mohicans here. I will find you. I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna have a drink with you, man. You are effing hilarious. I love your comments, dude.
So it was.
You guys could set aside some cash. You guys could set aside some cash for a high-level barber to stylize all your mustaches.
You guys,
Chubby, I just a little insight into Lord Mattias here. This chin and this upper lip, has not seen the light of day since 1996.
I'm encouraging every male in my general age group to ditch that fucking one piece thing. Any man that's ever owned that knows that the only reason you have that is for convenience, because everything else takes maintenance. I'm just telling you, Matt, you would look great with a handlebar.
You obviously do not hang out with Italians.
No, you know what? It's so funny, dude. I don't even know if I should get into this.
I look like without this, I look like I should have like a bib, and I should just be eating pasta and
Brian,
and like layered with sauce.
Real quick, are you Italian, Matt? Are you Italian?
I do have a lot of Italian and Irish, so I get angry and I get revenge.
And maybe Brian disagrees with me, but I feel like in Texas, like we don't there might be one dude who just moved down from New York, you know what I mean? But like the idea of like having anything other than regular old white dudes, like, oh, that's the Italian neighborhood. Get the fuck out of here. What? There's an Italian neighborhood in fucking Texas? Are you kidding me? Like, there's in Austin anyway, there's a pretty good like Korean district, but you kind of saw that grow. You know what I mean? It was one of those things that happened. It was like a natural thing that happened. Yeah. But like you cannot get fucking Italian food in Austin. I know somebody's gonna come back with, go to this restaurant. Fuck you. It's fusion, motherfucker. It's not real Italian.
I have an answer for you. It's not far away, and I ate that.
Olive Garden?
It's not far. In Brenham, Texas.
Get the fuck out of here with your Olive Garden bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Let me tell you something about look, I grew up okay. All right. Oh, I'm about to get upset.
Don't just take 1 second. I had Italian for lunch today. Went to a funeral in Brenham to say goodbye to a teacher of mine from high school.
Was there
Yo,
Brajol?
no, but there was ice cream if you were in Brenham.
In Brenham, there is a place that's called Brosa's. He's one of my former players from about 25, 30 years ago. It's in Brenham. It's an Italian restaurant. It's old school Italian. It's absolutely amazing. I'm going to send you the menu, Matt, and you can critique it. Anyway.
Word.
Now, Matt, go ahead. Continue. You were getting riled up. Let's go, Matt. You were ready. You are?
I'm
It only took 30
so-
seconds of me talking about a little Italian restaurant in Brenham. That's cool.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, look, where I'm from, I'm the Yankee amongst the three of us. Italian restaurants are, you just throw a stone and you'll find one. Finding a good one is hard.
That's barbecue and
but
Mexican down here. But
I spent a couple years in Chicago, or in the Chicago area, let me say. And it was one of those things where like you'd go into a restaurant and you'd be like, oh, this is Italian food, man, dude, I don't.
God,
those fucking breadsticks are pretty good. Hey, I haven't been to Olive Garden in years.
Get the fuck out of here.
I haven't been to Olive Garden in years.
Get out of here.
Hey, so okay, we haven't talked about games at all.
No, we haven't. We
have
need to, because I want to do a shout out, because this guy could not be here, but he actually reached out to me on X. BK Gibson. He has a question for you, Gary.
Word.
And there are a lot of frowny faces.
Oh, motherfucker.
No, I'm just kidding. There's no frowny faces.
All right, good.
All right. He says, how's the West Marches planning going? Do you have adventure sites / dungeonlets scattered around the map yet? And he says, I'm continually wowed by how many I need in mine. So it sounds like he's running a West Marches style game, and he wants to see how you're doing it. So go explain.
So, okay. So here's the thing. Anybody who's gamed with me in the past, Reed, Matt, anyone else knows that when I say I want to play a game, that means, are you ready next week? I am not a prep guy. However, because this style of game is so like, it's just in the air right now. And I really wanted to make sure I wanted to get it right. And I wanted to make sure that I had a solid foundation for something that can really last. Right. Because really the sole purpose of like planning for a long future is so that Brian stops making those sad faces at me. I'm so sad you never got to run a film.
My faces aren't you. I'm thinking. I'm in deep thought. I'm having dialogue.
No. I'm talking about in the past. I'm just kidding with you, Brian. It's all right. Be in deep thought. I love you, man. So anyway, where are we at with that? I have dungeons that I have made. There is lore. Probably on Sunday, if you belong to Lord Mattias's server, you will see that Gary's game table will have been changed. I am ready to start. I don't know how. I mean, I have no idea how many people are interested, so hopefully we'll get enough. One of the things that you're going to find on the server is a primer that basically explains how I think this is going to work. Like I say, it'll probably be Sunday evening when these changes are made and the primer goes up. But basically, if I can get 3 players that have some time they want to play that match up with my times, we're going to go. You're going to have to hire retainers for sure. But I'm pretty much, I feel like the best thing to do is just to get started. I don't think I can finish. Like, there's no way to finish this. There's no way for me to get to a point where I can say, okay, this is enough stuff. I'm just going to constantly be in the process of creating dungeons and encounters.
Beautiful and that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
Always in the process.
So right now I have and I am recycling. There are some I'm going to put it to you this way. There are some things that I have changed. I'm stealing from other adventures. I've changed drastically. I don't think anybody's going to recognize the things that I've stolen. So yeah, I'm pretty much ready. And I will say this, it's old school essentials. I'm using a lot of the random tables. I'm not so much trying to be hardcore or rules is written as I just want to get a real honest experience out of this. So there's even some dungeons that are close to the home base they're not low level. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a lot of running away or dying. So if only you had a GM companion of some kind that can help you make. Oh, Chubby, I just want to give you a trophy for helping us fill time. Thank you so much. Yeah, Chubby actually has what is it? A Shadow Dark player's guide.
He's got a player. Oh, well, let's do some shout outs. I want to do some shout outs because our chat has been fantastic, and the people who've been here are here and have been supportive of us. And I sincerely thank all of you because my channel has been going through an identity crisis, and I blame Gary. I want to say, number one, you have a couple publications that hit platinum on Drive-Thru RPG. I think it's I think one of them is, I think, the player's handbook for Shadow Dark. Fantastic, great. I also want to throw out Flint Fireforge. This guy, I discovered him because he tagged me randomly on, I think it was YouTube, because he started running one of my stupid Shadow Dark game jam adventures that was apparently riddled with fucking typos. And I do that. I really appreciate that kind of shit. Like I really do. So this guy has been publishing some zines. You can go to, I think it's Gumroad for them. I bought some of them. I've reviewed some of them, and they've actually inspired me to revisit what I've already done. And his take on, Gary, you're gonna love this. Flint's take on the hex flower has inspired me to redo a couple of my prior Shadow Dark game jam things. So everyone, please go to Flint Fireforge's YouTube, subscribe, do that whole thing. Check him out on Gumroad. And Chubby, guys, if you don't know who this guy is, and you should, if you're following us, you should go to Drive-Thru RPG and Google his name, and you will find a ton of amazing Shadow Dark stuff. So, and guys, we really appreciate your support, and Gary loves the hex flowers.
I swear to God, Chubby, dude, I'm gonna give you a wedgie or something. I swear to God. You know what? I gotta say, man, I'm so glad we do this Friday nights. I'm not as plugged into like gaming. Yes, sir. Dark Sun.
I'll read it. Okay. Disco Barbarian, yet again, another $2. Thank you so much. Chubby's Dark Sun conversion for Shadow Dark is A+. Yeah. Indeed, sir. Indeed. And yeah, I've thought about it. I wasn't paying attention. I may have been drunk while typing. I don't know. Anyway. We love you, Chubby.
Anyway, just to wrap up that last question, I'm putting things up on Sunday, and basically primer, and people can start asking me when a game is ready as soon as that section comes up on my Discord, or on Matt's Discord at my table. So you're welcome, Flint. You're welcome.
I missed that. There it is. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Where was it? That's what happens. There it is.
So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I personally, as a game master, been wanting to run something like a West Marches game for a long time, a very long time. I just have not had the I don't know, critical mass of players interested.
Well,
So I think it's great that you're doing it. And for those, I'm going to put the link onto my server again in the chat. If you're interested,
Sunday evening,
if
guys.
you're
Sunday
interested,
evening.
please consider. Go
So,
ahead.
Sorry, one of the things, just in case anybody's curious, basically, it feels weird to do this and be like, I'm running a West Marches campaign. What I'd rather say is that I'm running a game on Matt's server, and if you look at Gary's game table Sunday evening, you'll see what's going on and how it works. And if you want to play, come play. I don't want to make it a big deal. This is an experiment. I want to see how West Marches happens. Yeah, I want to see if it works out like they say. So I'm reading the books, I'm doing the things. Which is, I was actually, Brian, I was actually thinking earlier, and I want to, I'm most of the time when you're here, I'm glad you're here because I like to give you shit. I think it's really funny. I always, want to say like kumbaya and, you're a hippie and all kinds of shit when you're being so nice to your players.
I deserve it. It's fine.
But Lord Mateus will be right back, by the way. But when we first started doing that podcast, I was really, I was kind of done with D&D. Like everything Dungeons and Dragons, like everything with a D, fantasy D20, I was just, fuck this. And it had been that way for a long time. You know what I mean? I was playing D6. I was playing Fantasy Flight Star Wars. I was playing, I played all these different games. And you sent me out of nowhere. I don't know if you eBayed it or if you had extra copies. I never asked because that's not polite. But you sent me 2 original BX books. And I remember it was funny because when they showed up in the mail, that was COVID. And it was a weird living arrangement. Everything. No, I thought you sent me records because do you remember how you packed them?
Yeah,
you had them packed. You had them in like record cardboard. I was like, fuck yeah, records.
Dude sent me vinyl. He knows me.
I was like, oh, fuck yeah, what did he send me? I was so excited. I had the record player turned on and everything. And you pulled those out. And it was funny because when you first did it, I thought, that motherfucker's trying to prove me wrong. Because we would, not that we disagreed, like, but I was, every time somebody brought up 5e, and both of you guys, like Matt was coming out of 5e, you were still kind of in the whole 5e thing, and I had never touched it. I had read a little bit, I played a few games, like I dipped my toe in, and I was like,
not for me.
No, I'm not, I'm not doing this. But those BX books, as I was reading, I was like, this does make a lot of sense. And then I kind of set them aside and I didn't really, I didn't play any games or anything, but I remember reading them and thinking, oh, fuck, it was like being reminded, what the game was.
That was the idea. You
know
found
what
me
I mean?
out after all these years later.
Yeah. And then after that, and then after that, when the old school essential stuff started happening, I remember I saw a dude at the store with the little books, and it was the first time, we've had this conversation before that I don't think role-playing games present themselves very well. Like when you see people playing a role-playing game, it doesn't look like fun. It looks like team accounting. You know what I mean? But I saw a dude with the little books and he was passing. I was like, oh, that looks fucking cool. And then I kind of knew what it was. And it's like, oh, well, it's BX. And then I got those. And then once BX was put in this modern form, because that's what old school essentials basic is. Once it was put in that modern form that like was usable, it was like, oh, fuck, it does make sense. It's not a fucking broken game. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and it's not like, I hated it before. I had just walked away, I never touched it. Thank you, Chubby. Anyway, so I thank you for that because those are among the books that I can't sell or give away. I've made.
I just saw it. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
a little drunk. A little
Yeah,
slow on
same
the
here.
uptick. Yeah.
Hey, Matt, was there any other? Was that the only question you said? You said he had frowny faces. You
I
said he
was
had
I was
frowny
just
faces
messing with you.
plural.
No, he was.
Okay,
I was
good.
just messing with you. No, he just wanted to know what was going on because I think he's running one. Initially, I thought he was interested in joining, but it sounds like
Well,
he was running one, and he wanted to hear
yeah.
how you were
No,
handling all the
so this
potential
Sunday.
dungeons and whatnot.
Yeah, so I basically have come to a point where between the geography of the game and where dungeon placement and all that kind of stuff, some ideas branching. Like I know I don't have anything. What's up, Wibs? I
What
don't
is
have
up,
anything.
Brian?
I don't have anything written down for like level 4 and up, but I think we're good to go. So Sunday evening at the latest, go check Lord Mattias's Discord server. Go to Gary's game table. There will be kind of a primer letting you know. Now, I do want to say that when we first and Wib would know this. When we first started talking about doing West Marches, I got a lot of advice, dude. I got a lot of DMs. I got a anyway, the primer I put out, these are the rules I've decided on. This is what we are going to do. I'm not going to debate it. This is how it's going to run. Should a need arise, I'll address changing it. But that's what it is.
And
Sunday
that's how
night.
you should do it. And I think that's how you should do it. Because let's be honest, a lot of the guys who are playing online are game masters looking for games. They all have an opinion. An opinion, as we all know, an opinion is like an asshole. Everyone has one. Not to say that those opinions are not, important, but at the end of the day, this is your game, dude. And I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait to be a player, even though we're playing the worst version of BX OSE. I'd rather be playing Rule Cyclopedia, but that's okay. That's okay.
So listen,
hey, no one's
real
perfect.
Quick. Well,
no
on, wait a second.
That's
I want to
cool.
tell you. Okay, before this podcast started, so you know how I am. I'm always Chubby. We are going to answer your question.
Yeah, we are. I have it started.
Because
so the
Chubby's
the MVP of the night.
Yep. The reason, hang on,
probably the only sober one.
I gotta spray this fucking cat. Get out of
here. All right, while he's distracted, Rule Cyclopedia is awesome.
No. Wait a second. So here's the thing.
OSC sucks
because I haven't announced anything yet, and I haven't put it on the server, so it hasn't been christened or baptized or whatever we've been talking about. I'm still in that place where I feel like you could play this game I want to do, and you could say it's BX, you could say it's OSC, you could say it's Spec Me, except you can't say it's Spec Me because as players level up, there are different options. There is a part of me that could be convinced before Sunday evening to do Beck Me, to start with the do you guys want to flip 2 coins? Brian, do you have a coin on you? Do you have a quarter?
I don't.
No. I gotta.
My kids have piggy banks. I can steal it
Hold
from
on,
them.
I have a mini disc that has a disc side.
Hey, Chubby, I only drink at work.
What am I flipping?
We need a coin. Hang on real quick. Let me go get a coin. Just a second.
It's a D2, Gary. Do you have an idea?
I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea what he's doing. I like the Rule Cyclopedia because it's got everything I need to run an old school BX
fully
game.
Realized manual.
That one. I get OSE has got the awesome layout, blah blah blah, but
Rule Cyclopedia requires an investment of time and mental energy, and then you pull from it taffy to be able to really kind of weave. Where OSE is like all the immediate ingredients. So
okay.
Hold up 1 second. I was on a live stream with this dude, Mage's Musings. Thank you so much for showing up, dude.
Hey,
this guy's awesome.
I love Mage's Musings. I absolutely love your videos. I bought all of the paper miniatures that you use because of your videos. I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm the guy that watches your video about 5 minutes after you release it. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me explain the difference between BX, old school essentials. Well, let's talk about old school essentials and Beck Me real quick. With old school essentials basic, you get BX. With advanced, what you're getting are ideas from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons put into that. If you use Beck Me, all those options are different at different levels. It becomes a different game. It diverges, right? OSC advanced really is, these are ideas from AD&D put into BX, whereas Beck Me kind of follows this whole different trajectory. All right. So unless you guys both hang on, Matt, put that travesty down. I'm gonna talk. So thank you, Mage's Musings. I will watch your video. Put that travesty of bloat back where it belongs on the lower shelf. Unless both of you guys agree, we're gonna flip a coin. Beck Me or old school essentials. If we do Beck Me, we will start with the red books. We will not do any of the options from Rule Cyclopedia. We won't even talk about them until somebody crosses the level threshold and we do the expert side.
We don't need to flip a coin, dude. It's your game. You do what you want.
No.
I'm just gonna...
I can't decide. We had this whole thing about my indecisiveness. Just be happy that Shadow Dark isn't in the mix too. Beck Me or BX, and I do need your help. And this is the last we're talking about it. Beck Me or BX.
Maybe we should open instead of flipping a coin. Why don't we just ask chat?
Yeah, sure. Ask the chat.
I feel like it's I feel like it's a sign that Mage's Musings showed up tonight. I'm gonna ask you guys Beck Me or OSE.
I think
right?
he'd probably tell you first edition, right? AD&D, isn't that what he's running right now? I could be wrong.
I think he runs both. If the videos are current, I think Mage's send that dude a link. I feel like Mage's Musings, if I'm paying attention to the video order right, I think he's got like 2 separate camp. Include Shadow Dark in your options and rock, paper, scissors.
I like this.
I love this guy. Dude, we had such a great conversation. Was that the house rules versus raw? That was a great stream. That guy, I like that guy a lot. But anyway, if you don't know who Mage's Musings, go to his channel and subscribe, please. Well, Patty's Parlor's vote is Shadow Dark. Ultra saying Shadow Dark versus OSC. So I guess this is out. Ultra. I loved you once.
I don't. Okay. Oh man, how much?
Chubby. I love Chubby. He says Beck Me, which is kind of this.
I know. Like I'm so, like it. Honestly, Shadow Dark.
Guys, you don't understand.
Shadow Dark is
you don't understand how much Gary has been hemming and hawing over this. He has struggled, and I said to him, "Dude, what do you want to play?"
I'm just gonna announce it.
What do you want to play? Shadow Arc is good. It's a great dungeon crawler. And when the West Reaches PDFs come out, I'm sure there's going to be expanded rules for hex crawling. That being said, you have all that right here.
Well, what we would Matt, what would happen is we would start with the red box, and we wouldn't even touch the optional rules until you will always love me more details. Yeah. Shadow Dark, listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Shadow Dark right now is the least attractive to me at the moment. When Western Reaches comes out, if the time rules change or something,
let's take that
it'll be something else.
Let's
but
say
right now,
in a crazy world, Western Reaches
there comes out. And
would you consider Shadow Dark then apart and on its own? If there was no Western, if there was no Kickstarter, if that wasn't happening, would it even be a contender? Or is the only reason you're okay?
Yeah.
Good. That means the system is sound. That means there's something from there that you can work with. Right?
Okay, but okay, Mage's Musings, real quick. Yes, you have all the rules in the rules cyclopedia. Do I want all the rules?
Yes, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Mage's Musings.
I definitely want.
You've stepped into a long-standing debate between Gary and I that we will be battling this debate for
I think.
eons. Like long after our
Listen,
corporeal forms have decayed
I
and
think.
be molded with the earth, our souls will be battling OSE versus the
I
rules
think the
cyclopedia.
rules are
Anyway,
fine. I think the rules
they're
cyclopedia
perfect.
as a
They're
product
perfect.
is
They're
hot
perfect.
garbage.
They're perfect.
I love how Gary
Blasphemer.
clearly has. Then what is it? Then what is it, Chubby? What is my answer? Because I don't know. Because I wake up at night. No, what is the answer, Chubby? You call it. Tell me.
Especially if Shadow Dark's wrapped in like a tight leather like bodice. And she's like kicking the crap out of Thanos. You
I think
goddamn right I'll play Shadow Dark.
he's got nothing to say. He's just done with me. I'm sorry. I've had a few drinks. I'm a little belligerent. The other consideration, and I will tell you this, and this is less of a question. This is I've already answered this for myself, but the biggest thing about doing this is that when you realize the work that it entails, when you start doing the work, and you realize what that work entails, and like you're going to just be in the process for a while. No, they are not Ultra. I don't think they're the same at all.
Yeah. No, they're not. Ultra. So AD&D. I mean, fundamentally, I mean, right off the bat, AD&D separates race and class, and you have all these subsystems. And I'm not criticizing. I'm not a big fan of the AD&D branch of the D&D, I guess, history. But you have all these subsystems that were developed based off of a lot of what was in AD&D. This is based off of the red, blue, green, black, gold, whatever box sets, Beck me. And I'm a little drunk. I'm sorry. Point I'm trying to
They're not
make
the
is
same.
they're very different. They're not the same. Like the war gaming rules and the domain management rules are very different from AD&D. Races class is like you have seven classes: fighter, mage, cleric, thief, elf, dwarf, halfling, and then there's like an optional mystic class for an eighth. The skill system is very different from AD&D. There's like weird weapon mastery rules in here.
Yeah.
It's very
Hey,
different.
I want
It's
to
very
address
different.
Atmos real quick. Atmos, that's exactly when I think about doing Beckme, that's exactly how I think about doing it. I think about doing it starting with Redbox. And then when somebody breaks, level 3, when they hit level 4, then discussing the options. You know what? I don't really want to discuss anything. I will decide.
I know. See, this is what I keep telling you. Like you need, bro, bro. I'm a few glasses in.
I'm about to go make
You're
another
one of the
drink in just a
better
second.
game masters I've ever had the pleasure of running under. Have confidence in yourself. Just decide what you want to do. What do you want to do? I mean, I'm not going to think any less of you. I will if you don't choose this. But
No, I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it, dude. I mean, I don't know. We're all haunted, by something. And it's just actually I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's if you guys, it would be old school essentials. I've actually already thought of ways, so we're gonna start with the basic set. There are a few triggers within the game world that I have already made that will open up new classes. It will be racist class. Yeah. And I see the thing is when we first started talking about this, everybody was so hardcore about like do the basic set. and I get it, and I understand why. But I like this stuff. There's some good stuff in the carcass crawlers. There's some good stuff in the advanced set, and because it's presented in a way where you don't have to separate race and class, like you just get a new halfling class. You know, um, I don't know. I don't know that I'm looking for simulation. If I wanted to do simulation, I think I would do racist class.
I was
If
going to
I
make the
wanna do
exact same joke,
yeah.
but I refrained. Yeah.
If I wanted if I wanted to do simulation, I would probably go with Axe 2. I'm in love with that system, and there are rules. I can see the BX in it when I read Axe 2.
I got to be
I
honest
want
with
to bring
you,
in.
and this puts me at odds with a lot of
Yeah,
people.
we're doing
in the
OSC Mages Music. We're doing OSC.
with a lot of the people in the OSR. I am not a fan of first edition Dungeons and Dragons. I just am not. Like I get why people like it, and I get why like the Bro SR in particular like it. I just think like Axe does it better. Number one, and number two, I'm kind of hung up on racist class. I just think that makes more sense than
it works so well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just does. It just works. I it makes everything more magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Having
Like
having
if the way I look at it is this: there's a reason why it's called class, right? You have the fighter. What happens when the fighter becomes 9th level? He becomes a lord.
right.
What happens when the cleric becomes 9th level? The high priest. The 9th level wizard becomes the scholar, the sage, right? And the rogue, the thief, becomes like the freaking I don't know, the local boy done good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have elves, dwarves, and halflings. The class system is based upon what was actually happening in the medieval era. It's human centric. Elves, dwarves, and halflings should be different. They should not be warriors and magic users and rogues. They should have their own thing. And that's why Adventure Conquer King system by Alexander McCrease does it better. So if you want to do like a Bro SR thing with me, axe or bust, baby.
Yeah.
It just makes more sense.
Amos doesn't like OSC.
He doesn't?
Or there's something going on. It has rules that contradicted themselves.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with.
Basic and expert, not OSC. OSC MUs are awesome. Okay, cool. No, OSC is really, really good, and I like it. And actually, the Hell March rules work for OSC. They kind of work for everything. I think if you really, if you're playing a class system with levels, hey, Chubby, I would not. I think it would be fun to run a basic game. I do. Do I want OSC the whole time? I feel like OSC is the system that's most conducive to. I think it's probably the best playing of all the games out there. I mean, it actually made BX make sense to me. Gary likes to tease. I am very much a tease. Anyway, yeah, so we're starting. The basic premise of the game is a new land has been discovered across the sea, across the blood ocean, and the Forever Queen has bade her subjects to colonize and conquer. And that's what it is. It's funny because I kept saying I wasn't going to do Keep on the Borderlands, and the whole fucking thing starts on a keep with the ocean to your back on the Borderlands.
Yeah, it's a classic setup, man. You can't go wrong with Keep on the Borderlands. That's why, like, when I introduced like my buddies and their children, their kids, to Shadowdark, I said we're going to play Keep on the Borderlands. I mean, it is just you have maximum player agency. Well, maybe not maximum player agency. That's more Bro SR territory. But you do have a lot of player agency, and it just introduces newbies to a whole world for them to explore. And even veterans get a chance to see something new. And that newness is coming from the children.
So Mage's Musings, no, not so much Island Edition. Think more American colonies, right? Like it's a whole new continent has been discovered. Um when the idea first came, the whole thing started with, I wonder if I could do D&D Oregon Trail.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was the big thing, and I said, well, fuck it, let's just start with the colonies. Which brings to mind, like, there's some stuff with timekeeping. We're doing 1-to-1 time. It's going to take forever for this to build out. I will pass this game on to some younger buck before I die, and we'll let the colony grow. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Sunday evening, man, I'll put it up on the server. We can start signing up. What else you got, Matt?
Not much, actually, to be completely honest with you. I think what we have potentially growing on our server, thanks to Gary's work output here, has potential to grow. I think it's awesome, and I've been wanting to participate, run, whatever, in a West Marches game for a while. So if anybody who's been listening tonight wants to participate, I'm going to put the link back in the chat again. Please join my server. It's a gaming server. We have people running games all the friggin' time now, it seems like.
Buddy.
And
thanks, Mage's Musings. Man, I love that puppet. I love both those puppets. I really do.
Patty and Mage is taking off for the night?
No, Patty's taking off.
All right, Patty.
Good night, Patty.
Yo, I've talked to Patty a lot. We've actually worked on the deck of many triggers together, and yeah, man, thanks for showing up as always. We appreciate it, and I agree. The puppet's cool.
I dig the puppet. I dig the puppet so much, dude. And you know what's also nice is there's so many different channels. There's so many different gaming channels, and there's good ones and there's not so good ones or whatever. But it is really nice to see people like put a little bit of effort into something. And if you're gonna like work your studio out to do puppets, you know what I mean? You're putting some more effort into it. And I just really enjoy those videos. So if you guys haven't seen Mage's Musings, great channel. Just go check it out. Big fan.
Yeah, and on that note, because we're coming up on 2 hours here, I want to reiterate a few things, and this is not me lecturing or whatever. Because
here we go,
dude.
I'm just kidding.
Why do you got to be that way? I love this guy, but I fucking hate him. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
could you imagine if all talk shows had that dynamic, though?
I know. I've said this a bunch of times in various scenarios or whatever. Being a game master to me is not a process. It's not a formula. It's not a list of things that you should or shouldn't do. It's a practice. And I've been honest about what I do in my real life. I'm an attorney, and we call it a law practice for a reason. And it's because you're not going to know all the answers when you come out of law school. You're not going to know all the answers right out of the gate. And you might have a broad understanding, right? But the more you practice at it, the better you're going to get. And you get better by doing and talking to other lawyers. And I think game mastery is the exact same goddamn thing. And I know Gary and Brian here, DM Cloaker, feel the exact same way. You get better running these games. You get better talking about the games you're running and having conversations about these concepts, these ideas, whatever it is. You're going to get better. And that's what the second watch is about. That's what I'm about. That's what Gary's about. Brian, I'm sure that's what you're about. And we're really, I mean, we're happy to see you here. Yes, I've been drinking.
Yes.
I know. Lent is over. The Lord has risen. Here we are. So,
I've had a few.
bottom line is that's what this channel is about, and we want to see more of I don't know, your insights,
Well,
and
you
we want
know,
you to be part of the conversation.
I actually, and I think I've brought this up before, but I feel like I should bring it up almost every night. You know, when we started this thing, a lot of it's because we just enjoy talking to each other about games and hearing different ideas, and that's enough. You know what I mean? If we did this, and we only had 3 people watching, I would still do it, right? That's
Yeah.
because I like doing it. But what's really come into play is when people get in the chat and start asking questions, and they kind of make you think of things in a different way or give you a new angle, or whatever it is, just to have that group of people. So everybody that's in chat, anybody who I love you, man. Anyway, for all you guys in chat, thank you, because
We do love you.
You know, we have 3 brains here, and even 3 brains won't think up all the ideas or have all the questions. So it's great to have y'all be a part of this. Nah, bro, 11 people are watching on one platform.
Chubby, to quote Tom Waits, I'm big in Japan.
Chubby, do you drink?
I hope he does, because if we bump into him in North Texas Con, and we will, you'll be drinking with us, sir.
Oh yeah,
you're welcome, Ed. Hey, and one other thing, man, North Texas Con, I think that is going to be.
I want to interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
This guy, L. Ed, has been here since the beginning. Bro, thank you. We really appreciate your support, showing up here every night. It's great. And I love Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah. That's a good design for a superhero with the. Sorry. Anyway, I always like that. I'm getting too drunk to continue. We have about 3 minutes left. Thanks everybody. I'm excited about North Texas Con. I can't wait to meet everybody. Chubby, I can't. You're not drinking, obviously, because I cannot keep up with you tonight. Thank you very much. You're the 12th man on the field. You know what I mean? You're the anyway, you're good. Matt, get us out of here, bro. I'm spinning.
Yeah, well, I'm having trouble finding words because I've drank half a bottle of that stuff I said I didn't like. Brian, you've been a stalwart observer of this night's debauchery. What are your thoughts? Why don't you take us out? Because hold up.
Oh, we got to see.
Just Fire Forge.
We were
Thanks,
out.
brother. $5 agreed.
Yeah.
Practicing the game, practicing creating, and practicing teaching. It makes us all better. Boom. That guy gets it. Make sure you like and subscribe his channel. All right, Brian, take us out.
Well, first off,
no pressure.
I showed up here just to make sure you guys, as you progressively got more inebriated, that y'all played nice, and y'all did. We had some spirited discussion, and the drinks start flowing, and lots of different viewpoints. Chubby, you had a question you put out earlier, which was, what is something that you guys wish existed in the RPG space, but you don't have the time or expertise to make it? It was a great question. And we didn't get a chance to really get to that, but I thought it was a very provocative question. I think it's just it's a really exciting time after running games for 40 years to see how things are going to evolve. What is something I wish that existed in the RPG space? More spaces like this where players and GMs could congregate and bounce more theory and feedback. So there's that. And what's the time and expertise to make it? I don't know. I don't know what that looks like, but yes, I've only had one beer, but in my defense, I started drinking martinis at 2 a.m. post funeral. So I had to sober up because I was like, holy shit, am I going to be able to keep up these two motherfuckers?
All day long is like, I will not drink until the show. I will not drink until the show.
Italian? We're talking Italian? I had Negroni. I hadn't had one of those ever, and I had one today, a Negroni for the first time. It's like vermouth. It's like kissing absolute astringent. Anyway, so I had a Negroni. I had a martini. I don't drink hard liquor. I'm an IPA dude. So I actually had to pull back, and that was so you guys could bloom and be yourselves, your true selves tonight.
Bloom like hex flowers.
Bloom like hex flowers. But no, I'm very excited about North Texas. I think that existing in the RPG space is what we need more of. We need conventions to continue to return to form. We need venues for creators and players to continue to congregate. I do believe, to a theme that was said earlier about bringing things from the past, I think it's time to let go of things like Rule Cyclopedia and OSC. So you both can get mad at me right now. I think it's time to embrace the new creatives and those mediums and games to attract new generation players where they can continue to grow and flourish. That's all I got. I love you guys. I'm so excited about
when I see you at North Texas Con. I just want you to know we're going to spend like 4 days together. All right.
Yeah, but you're going to sleep on the floor because
I'm only going to hug you once, and I don't even know when it's going to happen.
Oh God.
Anyway, I know, right?
It'll be from
You're just such a nice guy. You're so nice. Sleeping on the floor. Shit.
We gotta figure it out, right? There's only 2 beds.
I might have Dallas people, but
I'll bring an air mattress.
That would make for a whole different kind of weekend.
Whoever is not traveling by air, vis-a-vis me, find a fucking air mattress and bring it, and we'll be good.
I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, I got people everywhere. You never know. You guys might be like, convention's over, let's go to bed. And I'm like,
Gary is, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. All right, guys, this has been a fantastic stream.
Chill stream for sure.
The chat has been fucking amazing. Something tells me maybe we should do more chill streams. I don't know, but I really appreciate Patty, Chubby, Disco, Flint. Who else?
Ultra,
Atmos.
We haven't tried.
Musings.
We have got so many people. This chat has been fucking amazing tonight, and I say that not just because some of the super chats and whatnot, but just you guys just talking to each other, having the conversation, and that's what we're all about, and we appreciate it. So
I asked y'all to hit like 2 hours ago, and we still only got 3. Come on, guys, let's try to grow this motherfucker.
Yeah, no. So hit like and subscribe, bell icon if you're on Rumble, hit follow. And with that said, y'all, our watch has ended. Take care. Have a great weekend. We love you. Take care.
Bye. Dude, get up. I think I heard